What's the hardest thing for an Olympic gold medalist to do next? It's not winning again. It's teaching someone else how to win. On April 28, 2026, during a retirement press conference at a hotel in Tokyo, Ryuichi Kihara said something that instantly changed the mood in the room. "We want to create a system where kids in Japan can take their very first step into pair skating without having to leave the country." Sitting beside him, Riku Miura quietly nodded before adding, "When I first started pair skating, there wasn't a single pair skating coach in Japan. I had no choice but to go overseas. I want to change that." The moment those words were spoken, a chill ran down my spine. Not because it was emotional, but because of the terrifying reality hidden beneath those sentences. Even after winning Olympic gold, Japan's pair skating world is still trapped in a dark system nobody truly wants to talk about. There are no coaches. There are not enough training environments. And worst of all, there are barely any male skaters entering the discipline. Those three problems have fed into each other for decades, creating a vicious cycle that has held Japanese pair skating back for generations. Riku and Ryuichi broke that cycle once as athletes. But the system itself is still alive. So today, I need you to stay with me until the very end, because their retirement was never really the ending of the story. The battle they're preparing to fight now may be far longer, far more difficult, and far more meaningful than anything they ever faced on Olympic ice. Because there's a massive gap between winning a gold medal and building the next generation capable of winning one. And once you understand what these two are trying to do now, the way you see Riku and Ryuichi may completely change forever. First, you need to understand the structural crisis inside Japanese pair skating. Japan is one of the greatest figure skating nations in the world. Legends like Yuzuru Hanyu captured 2 Olympic gold medals, while Kaori Sakamoto conquered the world stage with multiple world titles. But pair skating was different. Before Riku and Ryuichi arrived, pair skating was a wall Japan simply could not break through. And the reason wasn't simple. It was a tangled mess of interconnected problems that kept dragging the discipline down year after year. The biggest issue was the severe shortage of male skaters. In pair skating, the male partner must lift, throw, and support the female skater at incredible speed and height. That requires strength, size, timing, and trust at an elite level. Japan produces some of the most technically gifted male skaters in the world, but nearly all of them stay in singles competition. There was never a clear system encouraging athletes to transition into pairs, and there was almost no support for those who wanted to try. So the cycle kept repeating itself. No male skaters meant no pair teams. No pair teams meant no need for coaches. No coaches meant no training systems. No training systems meant children had nowhere to learn pair skating inside Japan. And without young skaters entering the discipline, the shortage only became worse. It was an endless maze with no visible exit. During the retirement press conference, Riku and Ryuichi explained the crisis in 3 simple points: a lack of training environments, a lack of coaches, and a lack of male athletes. Those 3 problems have been intertwined for decades, and Japanese figure skating never truly found a solution. Riku and Ryuichi were the miracle that escaped the maze. But the maze itself still remains. So what are they trying to do now? The answer comes in 2 stages. The first stage has already begun. As professional skaters, they plan to travel across Japan and directly introduce fans to the true power and beauty of pair skating. Ryuichi Kihara explained it himself. "During our competitive career, we never had enough opportunities to properly show Japanese fans what pair skating really is. Most of the time, people only saw us through small exhibitions or skating classes. We want to change that now. And they're already moving forward. From July 31st to August 2nd, 2026, at Tokyo Tatsumi Ice Arena, Riku and Ryuichi will produce a brand new ice show called Destiny. But this is not just another ice show. Ryuichi described it as Japan's first major production centered around pair skating and ice dance. That alone makes it historic. The show will use a full competition-sized rink designed specifically to let Japanese audiences finally experience the real speed, danger, and breathtaking scale of pair skating up close. For many fans, It may be the very first time they truly understand how powerful this discipline really is. And ticket demand is already expected to explode. But the second stage, that's the real battle, becoming coaches, and eventually building an academy. During the same retirement press conference, executives from the Komodo Group revealed something enormous. In the future, they plan to establish a third academy together with Riku and Ryuichi. And this is not some vague dream. The Komodo Group already operates 2 successful academies in Kyoto and has helped develop elite skaters who reached the highest levels of the sport. Now they want to partner with Riku and Ryuichi to create Japan's first true pair skating academy. But hidden inside that dream is a brutal reality almost nobody noticed. In order for Riku and Ryuichi to officially become certified coaches, they may need to wait 4 to 5 years. Why? Because under the current rules of the Japan Skating Federation, coaching certification courses are only held once every 3 years. Due to recent regulation changes, the earliest possible timing for them to fully obtain their qualifications may not arrive until 2030. Think about that for a second. 2 Olympic gold medalists, 2 athletes with world-class experience, and they may be forced to wait more than 4 years just to officially coach the next generation. The first time I learned this, I felt a quiet anger toward the rigidity of the system. You have 2 of the greatest pair skaters on earth saying they want to help children immediately, and bureaucracy is slowing everything down. How many young skaters might give up on their dreams during those lost years? But Ryuichi Kihara refused to surrender to that reality. We want to do whatever we can within the rules. I want to keep studying coaching and continue learning. So while waiting for official certification, they're already preparing for the future. They'll continue performing in ice shows while spreading awareness about pair skating across Japan. They'll continue studying coaching methods while laying the foundation for a future academy. Instead of smashing through the walls of the system, they're finding ways around them and continuing to move forward. And honestly, that strategy feels perfectly suited to who they are. These are the same 2 athletes who left Japan because there were no pair coaches. The same 2 athletes who crossed the ocean to Canada with almost no roadmap. The same 2 athletes who survived failure, isolation, pressure, and uncertainty before eventually reaching the top of the world. Their entire story has always been built on one simple pattern. What once looked impossible somehow became reality. There was once a time when Japan didn't have a single pair skating coach. But today, the very athletes who suffered through that reality are trying to become the coaches they never had. There was once a time when any skater who wanted to pursue pair skating had no choice but to leave Japan and train overseas. And there was once a time when the idea of Japanese pair skaters winning Olympic gold sounded completely impossible. But now, those same gold medalists are trying to raise the next generation of champions themselves. And the moment that cycle is finally completed, Japanese pair skating will truly change forever. Because the real question now is this: will Riku and Ryuichi's gold medal remain a once-in-a-lifetime miracle, or become the turning point that transformed an entire sport? That answer will be decided by this second battle they are beginning right now. And honestly, that battle has only just started. To truly understand how difficult this mission will be, we need to go even deeper into the problems Japanese pair skating has carried for decades. Because the issues people see on the surface are only a fraction of the real story. Yes, Japan has a shortage of male pair skaters. That part is true. But once you start asking why those athletes are missing, you realize the problem runs far deeper than boys simply aren't interested in pairs. Japanese male figure skaters are among the best in the world technically. Athletes like Yuzuru Hanyu, Shoma Uno, and Yuma Kageyama have fought at the very top of international singles skating. The real reason that talent rarely moves into pair skating comes down to environment and recognition. Singles skating already has a clear career path in Japan. Skaters compete at nationals. They qualify for Grand Prix events. They chase world championships and Olympic teams. The structure already exists. Sponsors understand it. Media coverage follows it. Fame and financial support are easier to achieve. But pair skating is completely different. There are almost no coaches, very few proper training facilities, and even if a young athlete wants to try pairs, they often don't know where to go or who could even teach them. Worse still, switching into pairs usually means walking away from the singles career they spent years building. For most athletes, the risk has simply been too high. And then there's the training environment itself, which may be the biggest obstacle of all. Pair skating isn't something you can practice casually. Lifts and throw jumps require specialized harness systems for safety, especially when male skaters are lifting female partners high into the air at full speed. But very few ice rinks in Japan are equipped with those systems. On top of that, pair teams often need private ice time to safely practice elements that singles skaters simply don't perform. That costs money. A lot of money. Without sponsors or institutional support, continuing long-term becomes almost impossible. One of the biggest reasons Riku Miura moved to Canada in 2019 was because of this exact issue. Quite simply, pair skating was physically impossible to fully train inside Japan. In an interview with Mainichi Shimbun, Riku explained it perfectly. When someone in Japan wants to learn pair skating, the very first thing they have to do is go overseas. That situation absolutely has to change. I genuinely wish more people understood the weight behind those words. Imagine what that really means. A child in Japan dreams of becoming a pair skater. But before they can even begin, they may need foreign language skills, massive financial support, international travel, and complete understanding from their family. That's not an open doorway to a dream. That's a privilege reserved only for the few people capable of overcoming every obstacle. And that is exactly what the future Riku Ryuichi Academy is trying to change. They want to open that door for every child. Now compare Japan's situation to the rest of the world. Russia was once the absolute king of pair skating. Legendary coaches like Evgenia Tarasova and other elite mentors spent generations developing pair teams. Their students later became coaches themselves, continuing the cycle year after year. That continuous chain of knowledge became the foundation of Russian dominance. China built national development programs specifically designed to identify and train young pair skaters from an early age. Canada, where Riku and Ryuichi trained for 7 years, has multiple cities with specialized pair skating facilities and experienced coaching staffs, including the famous training base in Oakville. And compared to those countries, Japan still lacks nearly everything. There aren't enough facilities. There isn't enough institutional support. There still isn't a complete system. And yet somehow, Riku and Ryuichi still reached the top of the world. But this is the crucial difference. Their victory was not created by Japan's system. It was created by two individuals who fought against the limitations of that system and built their success almost entirely through their own determination. And that distinction matters enormously. A system-created victory can be repeated. A miracle created by extraordinary individuals usually cannot. What Riku and Ryuichi are trying to build now is a system capable of reproducing miracles. That may be the most important mission of all. So what exactly changes if the Riku Ryuichi Academy becomes reality? Ryuichi Kihara gave a powerful answer. I've dealt with many injuries throughout my career. I want to pass those experiences on to children. Nutrition, mental strength. I want them to understand that technique alone isn't enough to win. And when you think about those words in the context of the Milano Olympics, their meaning becomes incredibly deep. After finishing 5th in the short program, technical mistakes had already put them under enormous pressure. But what carried them through that moment wasn't just skill. It was the strength of their relationship, the ability to trust each other completely, the ability to rest when injured without fear, the ability to avoid blaming one another after mistakes, the flexibility to adapt roles when needed, and the mental toughness required to survive years of pressure while living far from home in another country. Those are not technical skills. Those are human skills. And in the biggest moments, those invisible strengths became the difference between victory and defeat. That's the kind of strength the future academy wants to teach systematically. Then Riku Miura said something even bigger. We dream of the day our students dominate the podium. The first time I heard that sentence, honestly, it almost sounded too massive to believe. Dominate the podium. That means multiple Japanese pair teams standing at the very top of the world together. Right now, that sounds almost impossible. But honestly, in 2019, the idea of Japanese pair skaters winning Olympic gold also sounded impossible. And Riku and Ryuichi turned that impossible dream into reality. That's why this new dream feels different. Because when they speak, their words carry proof behind them. And now we arrive at the biggest question this entire story forces us to confront. Will this second battle succeed? My answer is yes, but only under one condition. The entire Japanese figure skating world must support them. The Federation must actively work to remove the bureaucratic barriers slowing down coaching certification. Sponsors and organizations must invest seriously in developing male pair skaters, and the future Riku Ryuichi Academy cannot remain an isolated project. It must become part of Japan's larger skating development system. If those conditions come together, then this second battle may become even more historically important than the gold medal itself. But if those conditions fail, then once again, everything may depend on the strength of just two extraordinary individuals. If that support doesn't come, then once again, Riku and Ryuichi will be forced to fight alone. Just like when they won the gold medal, they may have to build everything with their own hands, without real help from the system. I'm not saying they can't do it. They have already turned the impossible into reality once. But asking two individuals to carry that burden again is not what a healthy sports system should look like. And this is the most important thing I want to say through this entire story. Riku and Ryuichi's gold medal moved an entire nation, but emotion alone changes nothing. History only begins to move when emotion becomes action. The real question now is whether Japan's figure skating world can transform that emotion into meaningful support for what Riku and Ryuichi are trying to build. International media has already recognized how important this moment is. Some reports described it this way: Riku and Ryuichi are not simply retiring. They are beginning a new chapter that could transform Japanese figure skating for generations to come. Another outlet wrote that the most important thing they ever do may not be the gold medal itself. It may be what they do next. A Canadian commentator captured it beautifully. They came overseas as seekers. They left as champions. And now they return home to become something even greater: teachers. That sentence perfectly explains the weight of this moment. They didn't just leave competition behind. They returned home carrying everything they learned, everything they survived, and everything they became. Even Korean sports media viewed their retirement from a competitive perspective, suggesting that a rival had not disappeared but had gone home to raise even stronger rivals. That point is sharp. Because the next generation trained by Riku and Ryuichi may one day battle Korea, China, Canada, and Europe for the top of the world. So instead of celebrating their retirement, rival countries may have reason to worry about what comes next. French media described it in an even more poetic way, saying their greatest program may now be Japan itself. Think about that. For years, they performed programs on the ice. Now they are preparing to perform something much larger: the rebuilding of Japanese pair skating. That image is almost breathtaking. Chinese media also analyzed the situation with serious attention. If a Riku Ryuichi Academy succeeds, Japan could become one of China's biggest threats in pair skating. The fact that China, a country with such a strong pair skating history, is watching this plan seriously proves that this is not just a sentimental dream. It is a real strategic possibility. Inside Japan, fan reactions have been overwhelming. Some fans cried after hearing Riku say she dreams of their students dominating the podium. Others said, if it's those two, they'll definitely make it happen. Many demanded that the Federation rethink the system if coaching certification really takes 4 years. Some parents said they would absolutely enroll their children if a Riku Ryuichi Academy opened. Fans also said they would fight to get tickets for Destiny. But one reaction mattered most to me. A young male singles skater reportedly said that after watching Riku and Ryuichi, he wanted to try pair skating. That one voice may be the first real result of their second battle. The gold medal lit the dream. The Academy plan gave that dream a direction, and if that chain continues to spread, it may become the future of Japanese pair skating. So in the end, this entire story leaves us with one quiet but powerful question. Riku Miura met the ice at 5 years old. She trained her spirit through karate. She survived the pain of a partnership ending. She found the courage to contact Ryuichi Kihara. She endured 7 Canadian winters, and on the desperate night in Milano, she became the strong one and told him, "This time, I'll be the older sister." Then she delivered a 158.13-point free skate, reached the very top of the world, retired at the peak, and now she is trying to turn the rocky road she walked into a smoother path for the next generation. Ryuichi Kihara fell to injury again and again. He experienced broken partnerships. He risked everything the moment opportunity struck like lightning. He kept standing on the ice even when he knew the end was near. He broke down after the short program. Then he returned in the free skate and helped create a world record performance. He cried at the retirement press conference. And now, he wants to hand everything to the next generation. The injuries, the mental lessons, the nutrition, the pain, the trust, and the truth that technique alone is never enough. This is no longer just a sports story. This is the story of 2 people who achieved something extraordinary, then chose not to keep that achievement for themselves. Instead, they are trying to turn it into a gift for the future. And that gift may touch more lives, for far longer, than any gold medal ever could. So what do you think? How will you watch Riku and Ryuichi's second battle from here? And when someone tries to turn the road they once struggled through into a better path for someone else, have you ever seen someone like that in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments. And to everyone who watched until the end, remember this. Riku and Ryuichi's story did not end on the ice in Milano. The gold medal was only the prologue. The real story is beginning right now.